And we're going to have to move along because we have Commissioner Ziegler here, and we've got a couple of other coming. And I know he's here. And one of the things we have been wanting to learn about was, and I think it's more developed now, the county surtax project, which is the penny tax. Everybody knows it as the penny tax. And he might be able to give you now an overview of what is coming up that people have been looking at as possible ways that could benefit the community, and also the things that we might be able to ask that are part of what that money can be used for. So Commissioner Ziegler, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I'm going to let you take it away.
No, I appreciate it, Catherine. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate everyone taking time to kind of get informed and be involved at the local area. I'm going to present and then I'm going to bounce off because I got to go coach my daughter's softball team at 5:30. So I got to get over to the fields. But so real quick, I mean, the surtax, basically what it is it's, every county is allowed to institute a discretionary sales tax on top of the state sales tax of 6%. So Sarasota's basically done a 1% above that. That applies to, I believe it's the first $5,000 of anything that's, apply, or that sales tax applies to. So that 1 penny is that surtax that is going to be on the ballot next November. So we passed that probably I think it was like over 10 years ago. I forget the exact date, but this will actually be on your ballot in 2022. Now, this money, just so everyone knows, that 1%, that is basically earmarked directly for Sarasota County. And the schools, I believe, take about 25% of that 1% sales tax. So the schools get 25%, and then the other 75% is split between the county and then the municipalities. And that money can be used for parks, roads, sidewalks, libraries, obviously the schools, because the school district's playing in that. But it's really for public infrastructure projects. And, I'll tell you, we have, let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on one second. Oh,
you can't do that until I give you permission. Let me go.
All right. Well, hopefully you will grant me permission.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to try to do it.
Hopefully I make the cut. All right, good. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And go. You guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we have a website. If you go to SarasotaCountySurtax.net, you can learn about it a little bit. You can learn about some of the other ones, the historical, some of the projects we've worked on. All this stuff is good. At the bottom, what's interesting, there's 2 things I want to show you. Is this really kind of shows you for the last surtax what was spent. And you can click around here. Again, you just go to this website, write it down. But then if you click on this graphic, you can actually see the specific projects that were funded. If you click on view details and you go through here. So I encourage you, go click around, see how this money was spent. What you'll find are that these are a lot of very important projects, specifically for Siesta Key, that whole, project that we had there at the public beach. A lot of that came from the surtax. But the biggest thing that we need is if you go here and you say, we want feedback, this is your opportunity to kind of make your request, right? And what do we need? What kind of projects? And I encourage everybody, look, at the end of the day, as taxpayers, you all are going to pay for every project that ends up getting done, right? Because that's where the money comes from, is the taxpayers. And you want to make sure your voice is well represented and heard. So if you go on there, you can actually submit input online. If you just click on this, we want your feedback form. And then the other thing I want to show you is, hold on, let me pull it up. So I got a PowerPoint real quick on, I'm not going to read through all this, but basically now what we're doing is we're going out to the community to express how important this surtax is and has been, and how important it is going forward, right? And again, this is all infrastructure. This is all improving transportation, libraries, all of that other stuff. So we're out there just communicating about it, but I'm going to skip through. I can send this to you, Catherine. You can send it out. I don't want to read over slides, but what I do want to show you, look, it's about $2 billion is kind of what they're forecasting right now. We are now coming up with the projects that we want to include. So that's why online you want to submit it, but also we're going to have public, we're going to host basically public workshops on the surtax where you can come with your recommendations. So this is some of the information. Again, Catherine, I will email this to you and hopefully you can send it out to the group. But what's kind of interesting and a little bit confusing, I'm not crazy about it, but every entity is hosting their own surtax kind of, workshops. So you can see with the school boards having some, City of Northport, Lombok Key, here are the county ones that we're having in the various locations around the county. So as you can see, there are plenty of opportunities to come and weigh in on the surtax, maybe more than you probably need, but and that's pretty much it. So here's kind of the timeline. And again, this will be on the ballot next year. We'll have to vote on it. So that's the surtax overview. And the other thing I want to bring your attention to, which I'll send to Catherine, is I don't know if I've sent this to you yet, Catherine, but this was getting finalized.
This
And
is
this
Nora
is a-
Patterson. Nora
What's that?
Patterson Park, right? Nora Patterson Park.
Well, no, this document here, this document here is a list of all the projects that we've done since 2016 that touch Siesta Key. So it's a comprehensive document. I did this in another part of the county and I said, oh, we should probably do it for Siesta Key. I think it'd be helpful. So this dives through all of Siesta Key and what the county has been doing to improve, maintain, and to basically invest on Siesta Key. So, fire station, here's the Nora Patterson Park, as I think you were mentioning. And it just goes through project by project, but it's a whole, let's see, I think it's like, 22 pages of information on what the county's doing to support Siesta Key. So I will email that to you and maybe you can email that PowerPoint and this PDF to everybody. So that's basically what's going on with surtax and and then that PDF that I showed you. Now, I know the topic of discussion are the hotels on Siesta. Obviously, I thought we'd have a couple hundred people on today just to talk about that issue, but most people probably know by now. I mean, it's a little bit frustrating. I cannot specifically discuss those projects because they're quasi judicial. To be honest, as a commissioner, my view is we should be able to talk to whoever we want, whenever we want, and there shouldn't be any restrictions. And I'm the one guy in the room that just keeps saying that. The attorney, I don't think is very happy when I say that. But we have these rules in place and these laws in place. We cannot. So I know there have been citizens that wanted to discuss those specific projects, but I cannot do that. And I haven't done it with citizens, unfortunately, which I believe they should be able to communicate or have conversation and dialogue with their county commissioner. But I also haven't done it with anyone that's involved with those projects, right? But with all of that said, nothing stops you as a citizen from emailing into your county commissioners to weigh in and share your opinion. We just can't engage back and forth and dialogue on it. So hopefully that makes sense. That's why some of these meetings I haven't necessarily been able to host that specifically deal with those projects, but I know that's a big issue that people are concerned about. So with that said, that's my presentation basically. Again, I don't want to read through PowerPoints, but I will send that to Catherine, both these documents, and she'll send them out to you guys. But do you guys have any questions for me or feedback or concerns? As long as it has nothing to do with the hotels, I can field it. But if you do want to weigh in on those, again, I'm not trying to tell you you can't. I'm just saying the method is you got to send.
I have a few hands up. Joyce has got her hand up.
Commissioner Ziegler, thank you so much for coming to speak to us tonight. I wonder, can we have a meeting with you regarding the hotel houses and just,
Yeah, we can talk about that.
okay, so can I set up a meeting with your assistant and?
Yes, Kathleen will get that set up. I'll come out to the key. I just require that you have a daiquiri ready for me when I come out.
Okay,
The end of the day. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if
For the
there's any
next meeting.
supporters
It
here.
would be my
unless-
pleasure, Commissioner, to spread document for you.
But no, I'll come out there and sit with you. If you want to put together a group of people or you just want to meet with me solo, whatever you prefer, just get with my assistant Kathleen and she manages my schedule and she'll be able to get something on the schedule.
great. We have a group of about 4 people that have been
Okay.
working on this and trying to figure out where to go and what to do. So,
Yeah, no, that's fine. And whatever you guys want to share with me, I'm not going to say we always agree on everything, right? But my job is
course.
basically to listen to you guys, and you guys weigh in, share your concerns, and then we'll see what we can do about it.
okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Great. Appreciate
Another
the question.
another question is, you have the county houses survey on the citizen satisfaction. I was wondering how do we get information when that survey is going to come out, and how do we participate?
That's a good question. I don't know exactly when they do the survey. I know that, the general questions are you happy or not, stuff like that. I'll have to, if you shoot me an email, my email is Ziegler, which is ZIEGLER @scgov.net. I will track that down and get you some answers on that. But, what I suspect is it's a random survey. It's not, they need like a scientific survey, so they wouldn't necessarily post it online and let people weigh in, because then you would get groups that just email it out to just their group and you wouldn't get an even sampling. With that said, I think they do offer the opportunity for citizens to submit feedback and comments as well. So there's kind of like two parts, is my understanding, if I remember correctly, but I will track that down.
Right. I just inadvertently, 24 years, I haven't been asked once, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, it's like political surveys, which is my, normal business, right?
Yes.
You can't get a good sample if you flag it and you let people know, because then what ends up happening is whoever has the biggest email list gets their voice weighed in a little bit skewed. But yes, I will find out for you.
Right. Anyone else? I don't see anyone else's hand up.
Bob does.
Oh, Bob,
Yeah.
bringing
There
the
you
heat.
go, Bob. Okay.
Hi, back on the penny tax. I want to say I'm very supportive of the penny tax, and I think it's a well-managed program. They actually have an outstanding group of citizens who review annually the penny tax expenditures, and I know at least one of them is really good. That's me.
Well,
And it's,
Bob, I think your wife told me that you were really good. I'm still waiting for other citizens, right?
Yeah.
A few more.
Well,
More.
I also want to say that this list is really important because, it'll be $750,000 or so spent over 10 or however many years it is. But what's important is there are some restrictions on it. The list that is being put together right now will be the budgets that are approved, and to take something off or to replace something requires a vote by the Board of Commissioners to change the ordinance that it was adopted under. So this is an important list. There are some other things that this advisory committee looks at, one of which is no more than 50% can be spent on transportation, and also no more than 10% can be spent on economic development. So it's going to go into things just like Christian talked about, parks, road repaving, those kind of things that are real hard assets that we will benefit from. And we just got to get our nose under the tent and contribute to this list of projects so that the screening committee has a good list of projects that represent Siesta Key.
Bob, you're exactly right. First of all, appreciate your service on that. That's an important committee. And I guess you just tasked yourself with spearheading Siesta Key's efforts on this, because if you guys are underrepresented, we know where to go, right?
Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. Look, Siesta Key, obviously this money going towards our parks and libraries and transportation is important. Obviously economic development is important, but what makes Sarasota County special is we have some unbelievably beautiful parks that are well maintained. We have amazing amenities for our community, and a lot of that does come from this surtax. And as you mentioned, I mean, Siesta Key, look, our biggest park is the beach, right? And our number one park, if you were to ask me, is our public beach there on Siesta Key in the entire county. And so that's why it's important to be represented. I do believe the surtax is very important. If we didn't have that money, we'd be hurting. we would have to find it somewhere else, or we just wouldn't frankly have the amenities we have in our community that everyone not only enjoys, but now expects to see. So I'm with you, Bob. I appreciate your service. I mean, you and Catherine are like rock stars over there on Siesta as advocates. And it is very helpful, to be honest, to have you guys on the ground there relaying stuff to us and working with us, but also in your capacity of volunteering for these committees, because I know you're not getting paid enough. It's not the pay that's bringing you out. It's just the passion. So I appreciate that. But any other questions from anyone else?
You can put your hand up by using the reactions on your screen. Under reaction is the hand. So I haven't seen anyone raising their hand.
Okay, good. Well, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to bounce off and go coach softball. I just wanted to thank everyone being on this call. Thank you guys for being informed and engaged citizens. You're number one. Look, a lot of people check their stocks every single day, right? Because that's an investment for them. Not a lot of people check in on their local government, which I would argue is sometimes your largest investment, because they take that money right out of your paycheck, as you see. And no one, you don't see people taking out their phone with apps checking on their local government like they do with their stocks. So this is what you guys are doing by being part of these groups and getting on Zooms and engaging with your electeds. You can't do it enough. Sometimes we pass a budget, we're spending over, like $1.5 billion, and it's like no one's in the room when we pass it. So it's just it's a little bit wild. And I encourage people, because of that, I share that story because I just want more people to be engaged and informed, and don't hesitate to reach out, because at the end of the day, we work for you. We signed up for this. Our job's to represent you. And the way we do that is by listening to you and hopefully implementing on stuff that we agree with. So thank you, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your meeting. And I apologize, I have to leave early, but I'm going to go over to Miss Sarasota right now, softball fields.
All right.
All right. Have a
thank
good
you.
game out there with your daughter.